You ever notice how every city's got a story that nobody wants to talk about? Not the tourist stuff. I mean the kind of story that makes you check your locks twice before bed. Chicago's got one. And it's not about pizza or the Cubs. It's about bodies, young men mostly, pulled out of the water, one after another, like the city's got a secret it can't keep down. Now, people drown, that's just life, but not like this. Not this many, not this fast, not all with the same weird details. And that's where the story starts to twist. Because when the news keeps showing you the same headline, another body, another river, another family with no answers, your brain starts to fill in the blanks. And sometimes, what we fill in is way scarier than the truth. So, is there a serial killer stalking Chicago? Or did we all just make one up? Let's talk about it. It started slow. A body here, a body there. You hear about a guy who went out drinking, never made it home, found days later in the river. Sad, but not unheard of. But then it kept happening. 2022, 2023, 16 bodies, all young men, all pulled from the water. Lake Michigan, the Chicago River, same story every time. And the city started to buzz. People whispered in bars, on the Ellen group chats. Did you hear about the latest one? What's going on? Someone out there hunting these guys? Hey, real quick, if you like stories that blur the line between fact and fear, and you want more mysteries that keep you up at night, hit follow and subscribe. We chase the stories that haunt you. All right, back to the story. You know how it goes once people start talking, the story grows legs. It's not just Chicago either. You look back, you see the same thing in Minneapolis, Boston, even New York. Since the late 90s, there's been this theory, maybe you've heard it, about the smiley face killers. Supposedly there's this underground gang, or maybe a network of serial killers, who drug young men at bars, snatch them, and dump them in water. And every time a body turns up, someone finds a smiley face spray-painted nearby. Coincidence? Or a calling card? People love a pattern. We're wired for it. And when the pattern is scary enough, it spreads like wildfire. Let's put some faces to this. Daniel, Natalie, Peter, Christoph, Anthony, Joel, Richard, Seamus, Noah. All young, all out with friends, all vanished after a night out, all found in the water. No connection between them, different backgrounds, different neighborhoods, different nights. But in death, they're all part of the same story. And the details, man, they're weird. No signs of a struggle, no obvious wounds. Sometimes the bodies are found days or even weeks after they disappeared. But they don't look like they've been in the water that long. It's like they just show up. So, what do the cops say? Mostly they say it's accidents. Too much to drink, bad decisions, cold water, bad luck. But the public isn't buying it. Social media lights up, Reddit threads, TikTok videos, YouTube deep dives. People start connecting dots that maybe aren't even there. Why are all the victims young men? Why always water? Why so many in such a short time? And then someone brings up the smiley face killers again. Old theory, new city, same fear. Here's where it gets wild. The media loves a good mystery. And a serial killer? That's ratings gold? So every time a new body is found, the story gets bigger. Reporters ask the police, is there a connection? Cops say no, but the headline is already out. Serial killer in Chicago? And the more people talk about it, the more real it feels. You start to see killers in every shadow, danger in every night out. But let's slow down for a second. What's the actual evidence? Most of these cases, when you dig in, look a lot like tragic accidents. CCTV shows guys stumbling alone, heading toward the water. Toxicology reports show high blood alcohol. No signs of a fight, no defensive wounds, no drugs that would knock someone out. And those smiley faces, turns out they're everywhere. Go to any city, any bridge, any alley, you'll find one. It's not a secret code. It's just graffiti. But here's the thing. Once a story gets going, facts don't slow it down. So why do we believe? Why do we want there to be a serial killer, even when the evidence is thin? It's simple. A serial killer is a story. It's a villain you can fight, a mystery you can solve. It's way easier to blame a monster than to face the randomness of tragedy, or the dangers of drinking too much, or the fact that sometimes bad things just happen. And when you're scared, you want answers, even if you have to make them up. Now here's where it gets even messier, because once the story's out there, it starts to change people. You see it in the way folks talk at bars, or how parents text their kids at 2 a.m. "You home yet?" You see it in the way the city lights up with rumors, and every new missing person poster gets 100 comments. "Not again, it's the killer. Why isn't anyone doing anything?" And the internet? Man, the internet takes it to a whole new level. One TikTok goes viral, and suddenly everyone's an expert. People start seeing patterns everywhere. A new body is found, and before the family even gets the news, there's a thread with 100 theories. And the more you scroll, the more you believe, because everyone else seems to believe too. But here's what the numbers say. Drownings in Chicago aren't actually up. In fact, the last 2 years had fewer than the years before. It just feels like more, because they happened close together, and the media ran with it. And the police. They're not hiding anything. They're just dealing with the same thing every big city deals with. Too many people, too much booze, too many bad nights. But we need monsters. We need stories. It's how we make sense of chaos. And sometimes the story gets so big it takes on a life of its own. People start seeing the smiley face killers everywhere, even when there's nothing there. It's not just Chicago. It's human nature. But here's the dark side. When we focus on the legend, we miss the real dangers. We stop talking about alcohol, about mental health, about looking out for each other. We start looking for killers in the shadows, instead of helping the friend who's had one too many. And sometimes the legend makes it harder for real families to get answers. Because every time a new theory goes viral, the truth gets buried a little deeper. So, is there a serial killer in Chicago? Maybe, but probably not the one you're picturing. The real killer might be something way more ordinary, and way harder to fight. But the story is real. We made it real. And now it's out there, living its own life, just waiting for the next headline. So, next time you hear about another body in the river, ask yourself, are you seeing a pattern, or just a story you want to believe? And if you're out with friends, keep an eye on each other. Because the real danger isn't always a monster in the dark. Sometimes it's the things we don't want to talk about. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a killer out there, watching, waiting, hiding in plain sight. Or maybe the scariest stories are the ones we tell ourselves. So what do you think? Is there a serial killer in Chicago, or did we all just create one out of fear? Drop your theory in the comments. And if you want more stories that dig into the truth behind the headlines, hit subscribe and stick around. Because every town has a dark side, and sometimes the darkest thing is us.